our unit, our lesson on factors and multiples, okay? So we're going to start first with multiples. So what is the definition of multiples? A multiple of a number is the answer obtained when that number is multiplied by another natural number. And it's easy to remember that it's going to be multiples is talking about multiplication, okay? The most common mistake with students in factors and multiples is that they get confused and they don't know when to multiply and when to divide. But if you remember that multiples are multiplication, you will remember that factors is the other operation which is division, okay? So every time we're talking about multiples, we're talking about multiplication. Beautiful. So let's do some examples here. So the first example that we're going to do, the other thing that I wanted to say is that before going into example is that we're multiplying by natural numbers. You will see some definitions. Remember that natural numbers, we are talking about counting numbers. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, and so on. You will see some examples in which they say that is multiplied by another whole number. But remember that when we include the whole numbers, we're including 0. And when we're doing multiples, we never include the 0 because otherwise 0 will always be a multiple, because we can always multiply any number by 0 and the answer will be 0, right? So 1 times 0, 0. 2 times 0, 0. 3 times 0, 0. So we have to multiply by natural numbers. So the first example that we're going to do is going to ask us to find all the multiples. I want you to copy all of this in your notes, girls, please. Multiples of 7. Okay, so how do we do this? So we have to find the 5 first multiples of 7. Sorry, I forgot to write that. The 5 first. I'm going to put it here. 5 first multiples of 7. And because it's saying that the first 5 multiples of 7, we start with the first counting number that we know, and it's 1. Agree? So what we have to do here is going to do 7 times 1, 7 times 2, 7 times 3, 7 times 4, and 7 times 5. Wonderful. So if you know your multiplication tables very good, you will have no problem with this. If not, let's look at this. It's not very clear. Here we go. There you go. Okay, to this multiplication grid. So this multiplication grid, the way that we read it is I have 2 times 2 is equals 4, 3 times 3 is equal 9. But here I don't have 3 times 2, which we know that is 6. But where do I have it? I know that 3 times 2 is the same as 2 times 3. So I can read it here, okay? So if I go to the 7s, again, I don't have all these numbers here that I do need, but I can look, instead of looking in the row, I can look in the column, and I can see in 7s I have 7 times 2 is 14, times 3 is 21, times 4 is 28, and times 5 is 35. So if we go into our example here, we can put that this one is going to be 7, 14, 21, 28, and 35. So if we're going to list them, because we don't write them like that, if they're asking us to list them, we list them. We just say 17, 14, 21, 28, and 35. And that will be the answer. Wonderful.